Well, all the way from Indiana comes this beautiful Power Wagon. You got to tell me about it. What makes this a Power Wagon?
Well, it was created by Dodge. It's a 1950 model, and after the war, they developed these or introduced them to the civilian market, you know, using the original military drivetrain. So the soldiers could come back and get the same version of the vehicle they used in the war.
Now, you have a Woodie here.
Yes.
And tell me a little about how it's powered.
Well, it's just got a flathead 6, or what they called the L-head 6, 230 cubic inch, which was a pretty common engine for, you know, Chrysler and Dodge in that time frame.
How did you come by owning this thing?
Well, I knew about the vehicle in the Power Wagon community. A gentleman by the name of George Wellman had owned it for years, so we'd seen it at different rallies, well, mostly at Fairfield, Iowa, is the big gathering for the Power Wagon people, so that's how I come to know about it. And then eventually George offered it for sale, and over a period of years, I finally convinced my wife that maybe we should own it.
Well, why don't you introduce me to the family here?
Well, this is my wife, Leonda, and our son, Cole.
Well, did it take much thought about owning a Power Wagon?
Oh yeah, it took a lot of thought. But after a couple of years, I guess they wore me down.
Well, now do you get to drive the Power Wagon?
I would rather be chauffeured, but I would drive them to work, but it takes too long to get to work because in a normal vehicle it takes you about a half an hour. So this I'd have to leave, you know, about 3 in the morning to get there.
Well, now why is that?
The top speed on a good day is about 42 miles an hour.
That's going downhill with the wind.
Right.
Now, what about your friends? I mean, when you say, hey, I've got this Power Wagon, what do they say?
Well, I have, my dad and I restored a Power Wagon for me, and my Power Wagon is the same color as this one, but it doesn't have the Woodie bed, obviously. And the first day I drove it to school was a couple Thursdays ago, and I walked out of school from the school because it was the end of the day, and I walked out there and I counted 21 people all standing around my truck, and they're like, Cole, is this your truck? And I was like, yeah, this is my truck. And they were like, wow, that's amazing. And I was like, well, thank you. And then they were asking me questions about it. And then the interesting part, though, was I have a track practice after school, so I parked my truck in front of the parking lot there to go to track. And while I was running laps of the track, I looked over and I was like, hey, Dave, Coach Dave. And I was like, who's with my truck over there? And he's like, well, that's your principal. And I was like, my principal's over there taking pictures of my truck.
Well, you've scored a lot of points there in the school. That's great.
I would say so.
Well, you have your own Power Wagon to restore.
Yes.
Wow, this is a Power Wagon family, isn't it? A power family.
So again, this is an off-road truck.
Now, your wife says you get up to maybe about 42 miles an hour in this one.
Yeah, and that's on a good day. They're not built for speed, but you know, they're geared for pulling. Most of them originally had 583 rear end gear ratio, and they did offer 489 gears, but they just weren't a speed demon, but they had quite a bit of power.
So how often do you actually get this on the road?
Well, not that often. Obviously in the wintertime we like to keep it inside, but in the summer on special occasions we'll get it out. Just recently we had it in North Carolina for a nephew's wedding, so that was kind of fun, and Cole was able to drive the couple away, so that was kind of a big moment for us.
Well, when you take a look inside here and see all this beautiful wood everywhere, you understand the pleasure. It's like going on vacation and being in a cabin somewhere.
Yeah, well, and the smell, you know, you can't. It's hard to imagine until you sit in it, but it is. I like looking at the wood.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You have a beauty here. It's got to be the star of the Eyes on Design show.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank you.